Today we're doing a little panfish clinic here for the kids. We got two different setups with bobbers and one with just a standard jig. This one here, just a standard bobber setup with some weight and a straight hook. You can bait this hook with either a night crawler or a maggot or any other type of bait. The second rig we have is just a standard panfish jig. It's just a jig tied to the end of the line, and you can either fish the jig like that or tip it with a piece of worm or maggot or anything. And the last rig we have is a tandem rig with a bobber. Oftentimes panfish will be in a school, so we have a jig up towards the bobber, which is towards the surface, and then one on the bottom tied in tandem. You can also put a floating jig head on the bottom one to keep it up off the bottom as well. So here we have the jigs that we use for panfish, bluegill, pumpkin seeds, and the trailer that we put on the jig. So you take this jig, you take whatever trailer you have, any different color, and simply feed the tube onto the hook, and then push it over the barb on the jig so that it sets on the hook like that. Then you tie your line to the eyelet in the jig. On the tandem rig, we hook the bobber on the line. The bobber has a clip on it, on the line about 12 inches from the end of the line. At the end of the line, tie your first jig to the line. Then take about a 12 to 18 inch piece of fishing line and tie it to the bend of the first hook, and then tie your last jig to the end of that line. So you have the two jigs in tandem 12 to 18 inches apart. You can fish this two ways, either cast out and let it sit, or cast out and just move the rod every once in a while to move these jigs. Second rig, just the basic bobber rig. You've got your bobber set, and you want to set the bobber about the depth of what you think the water is you're fishing. So if you're fishing 4 foot of water, I usually set my bobber about 3.5 feet up. That way the bait will be slightly off of the bottom and not right on the bottom. Then you have your weight, your hook, and then you bait your hook with whatever type of worm, maggot, or whatever you have. To fish this, you simply cast it out and let it sit. The bobber will tell you when you have a bite. The jig rig, just tie the jig with the trailer on the jig to the end of the line. To fish this, you would just cast it out. This jig will sink to the bottom, and you just slowly move the rod and pull that jig along the bottom. If the jig is baited, the fish will probably pick up the bait because it's right on the bottom, and a lot of fish will feed right on the bottom.
Now you need to get out and catch a few.